Hello, everyone. Kathy Bacon here with What's Your Story? I am so glad to see you all again this week. It's been so nice to have your comments and everything on the Facebook page. I'm so glad you're tuning in. It's my pleasure. It's my honor to absolutely bring you amazing people in the world that you didn't even know about. So it's really, really nice to have you here. And I hope that every week you're inspired, because that is my goal, is to bring you people for What's Your Story to be inspired. I'm in Chiang Mai, Thailand. Pretty soon, like tomorrow, is a major holiday. It's called Songkran. And Songkran is Thailand's New Year's. So it starts out with a little bit of water being sort of put on you. And then by the end of the day, it turns into a huge water fight. So not really a fight, but just people having fun with water guns, and it goes on for like 3 days. So you can guarantee that if you go outside, you're going to get wet. Or if you stay inside, that's a choice. But there's so many great things going on here in Chiang Mai, and the Thais are very excited for their holiday, and it's really, really a fun holiday. Today, I have a guest that I've known for quite a while now. And I'm so grateful to know her, because she's really inspired me in so many ways. So many ways. And I know that she's going to inspire you. And one of the things about her that inspires me is that she absolutely never gives up. Never. I've never heard her say, I can't do this. I'm not going to do this. I don't want to do this. I've only heard her say, I'm going to do this. I have to do this. This is what I'm doing. And sometimes we hear so many negative things from people like, oh, I'm not worthy of this. I can't do that. And, so-and-so did this and I can't do it. You know what? This is not even in her vocabulary. I'm telling you this right now. She's an inspiration. And I know by listening to this interview, you will absolutely feel the same. If you're in Colorado, I strongly encourage you to reach out to her. Her information is all on my website, which is www.kathybacon.com. So easy. You can find out all of her links, how to get a hold of her, and she's accessible, believe me. She's got a few groups on Facebook that you can get involved in. And if I were you, I might think about doing that. So without any further ado, I would like to welcome Jenna Lavelle. And she is an amazing woman. So, hi.
Hi. What an introduction. Thank you so much.
Oh, well,
nice
it's so
to see you.
You too. And when I think of you, that's what I think of. I think of someone who never, ever gives up. And to me, that is an inspiration for so many of us. Because I can't tell you how many times I want to give up, but I can always hear you saying, oh no, I'm doing that. No, I'm going to do that. Okay, then.
Oh, believe me, there's time as I would like to give up, but yes, pretty determined. So thank you so much, Kathy, for having me.
Well, it's so great. And, I didn't read this little paragraph, and I'd like to read it now. And this is something that you said. When you learn something great in life, it becomes greater when shared. I have learned that it's never too late to change your lifestyle. And if you believe, all things are possible. I will always be grateful to my family, friends, and colleagues for giving me the strength and determination to achieve a big weight loss goal. I feel very fortunate that I was able to figure it out after 13 years, and I have a brand new life in front of me. Gives me goosebumps, really.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh,
yes,
man.
my story, it kind of just happened organically. So I was a wife and mother, and was working really hard, and of course, life, challenges every day, trying to raise a family, make the money, make the house payments. Anyway, I got into sales and absolutely loved it. And after I had my daughter, I had gained some weight and hit some lows and some hiccups in my life, and just I kind of fed my anxiety and my unhappiness at times, and ballooned up to 200 plus pounds. And then over the years, my highest that I know, 2013, was 269 pounds. So I lost 139 pounds, which was no easy feat. And no easy feat. I didn't know it was possible, and decided to share my story because it is possible. And there's no fad diet that can get you there. There are tools that can assist you in helping you maybe get you 10 or 20% closer, but you have to put the hard work in, and you have to dedicate yourself. And that's why I shared my story, because it is possible. So I appreciate you helping me share that.
Oh.
And it's so great to see your
pleasure.
face.
It's so nice to see you. Let's give each other a virtual hug.
I know, right?
Hug. Yes. I know.
So I worked. Yeah. So I worked. My story kind of began where I have been lucky to do well in my career. I've been in sales, and I worked for a radio and telephones when they were first coming out, and stumbled upon a job at Living Social, and it was a dream job. Met some amazing friends for life, and I was making the best money of my life, having the most growth in my life, and having some of that, the best happiness in my life. And I just noticed everybody was working out so early in the morning and getting up at 5:30. And I thought, what am I missing? I don't get it. Right. And started asking and observing and seeing that my coworkers were like me, working from home. Our office was in DC, so nobody was watching. Right. I know, we were working from home, and I'm like, well, you don't get up that early. I don't get it. But they were. And I started asking, I asked Fred, who is my now great friend, and was my coworker and my boss then, who could I work out with? Who do you work out with? And it kind of all started there, where he set me up with somebody who was a trainer, that was his trainer, that moved down south. And I think once that he figured out that I was invested, I mean, there wasn't a lunch that I didn't go to that, the sauce was off it, and the cheese was gone off the salad, and everything was kind of prepped, ready to go. So I really had that guidance and help. So I had my trainer, and then I also had Fred, and then he, my team, my family, my friends, everybody started really jumping in. So I think the support system for whatever you want in this life is really key. That's what you have to be successful for whatever your goals are. And that was the beginning of my journey. And it was
you can't do it alone. I mean, nobody can do it alone. We think we can, but no.
You can't do it alone. And I had tried so many times. I had, so I was heavy for 13 years. I kept that weight on for 13 years. Wow. And I tried every fad diet. So I tried the Atkins diet, and I tried, and they work. You lose your 30 and then you gain 40 as soon as you eat like you used to. And, the cleanses and all of that. And I started kind of doing the math in my head. How many diets do I think I've been on in that 13 years? And if I was being conservative, I bet it's 50 plus. Because if you think that's just 4 times a year, and there's always like, you crash for summer or a wedding, or, you want to get into that dress, and and then you go on that vacation and you overload. I know. So,
but that's what we're set up to do. I mean, think how many people are making money on weight loss pills, weight loss fads, weight loss diets. I mean, that's what we're set up to do. That's what we think is going to work.
Yeah.
So that's what we do, right? Because, I mean, look how many people endorse this, lose a bunch of weight drug, or whatever. I mean, there's so many. I mean, I've gone into the store and I see like so many. I mean, how do you know which one works and what doesn't work? And you're going to try anything because you become desperate because you want the easy way out. And that doesn't
And there's
work.
No easy. And it doesn't last. At least it doesn't last. Even like money, if you're trying to make quick money, that doesn't last either. You might get lucky here and there, but to produce results in anything you want in life takes hard work. So that really is the lesson.
It does. And I think that's a good thing to hear for all the people in the audience. It does take hard work. Nothing just comes flying in on a silver platter. And if it does, I would question it, right?
Right? Exactly. I think the most ironic thing about it all is that when I got to the end, I couldn't believe how much easier this was than all that yo-yo dieting, all that chaos. It was just chaos.
Chaotic.
Yeah. And it really was. And what I was putting my body through, and I didn't know how bad I felt. I didn't have a health scare then. And I was really lucky. I didn't have diabetes. It happened for me just in time because I'm 45 years old now. And so, and 43 when I started. So I could have been in big trouble. And I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful. So my trainer, it was great. I saw him twice a week.
So twice a week. Wow. And that takes a lot out of you because I've had a trainer.
Maybe in the beginning I saw him 3 times, right? I know. The first 6 weeks I think was the hardest for me just to adapt a new habit. Maybe 4 to 6 weeks. So when anybody's starting, I just like, if you can get to that like 21, 30-day mark, that's what I'm pushing for, because then you start to crave. Like you look at the scale. I'm addicted to the scale. I still am. It's so important to measure and see the difference, or feel that your clothes are loose if the scale's not moving. I agree. There's people that just posted on our site today that said, look at these 2 people are the same weight, and it's a very fit person, and then somebody who is not as fit, and he is the exact same weight in that picture. And I have an example of a lady like that too, that is
that's interesting, right?
Her weight was. Yeah. And it was like the same exact weight, but they look like entirely different physique. Like their whole body is different. So I thought that was pretty cool to see. And I love the sharing that we get to see on Facebook. So,
and what is that Facebook group, Jenna? What is that?
Our flagship Facebook is Getting Closer Every Day. But if you Google Getting Closer Every Day accountability, then you'll find that. And that's where people share recipes, and they share their fitness. And, some people buy some of these tools that get them there 20%, sooner, and they believe in their products, and they share those. We ask that nobody sells on it, but everybody's been really respectful and shares their story. Yeah. Something that recently happened to me in the recent couple of days is somebody had reached out saying, "Oh, I saw your story. Did this really happen?" And I've never had this happen before, but an infomercial took my story from my magazine, took my pictures. Yes. Took my pictures and then falsified their information and said, Jenna lost 122 pounds. I know, in 5 months, and she uses product because I endorsed Omegas. And,
so did you have to go talk to them, or?
I'm trying to get them. It's hard to reach them.
I bet you are. Oh
yeah. I want people to know, so I need a post on my site because I want them to know that's not what happened. That's not how I did it.
That's right. But see, that's what people think, that, let's just have her, and let's have her be the endorser for it. It's just wrong, especially when you work so hard. You didn't,
right? Well, I'm happy that I'm real. Like they took a real person and did that, but I'm like, wait a minute, I never heard of that product. I would have never taken of that product, and what you're saying does not work. So that was kind of shocking because it's been out there for 2 years, my story, and it just got picked up by this company and did it. So I'm dealing with that, and I thought it was really interesting. But I'm happy that people continue to reach out, and I hope that people continue to educate themselves about the quick fix. And I think most people know. What's nice about the site kind of happened. The site happened for lots of reasons, but Eric, who is my trainer, Eric, Babcock Performance.
Hi, Eric. Thank you. Hi, Eric. Thank you so
much. He's great. And he said he started the new facility that I was at down south where my house was. And he said, well, why don't you check into Facebook and say you worked out with me, because I'm trying to, get started with my career. And I was kind of like, and this is a place that, all the professional athletes worked out. It wasn't a normal gym. And so it's kind of like, oh my goodness, I'm in the wrong place. But what happened was on Facebook is that I started getting people saying, oh, Jenna, you didn't check in today. Or they started 30 people a day were liking it. Because I think they were like, whoa, Jenna's working out, right? So it was good to see. And when I wasn't, they were checking in with me, and they were texting me, and they were people from elementary school. It was great. So the support system socially also was huge. It was just like this magic formula for me. So
it's good to have that site then, to have people to support you in every aspect of what you're doing. So how many diets, we were talking about diets, how many diets did you go on and before you said, okay, this is enough? Like, what was that thing that said, okay, enough, Jenna, we got to do something
Yeah,
here?
I don't know that I had a moment. I know that I sat Fred down and had this moment where I said, I want to lose weight. I'm unhappy with myself, and have this conversation. I remember physically saying it, physically doing it, but I don't remember a moment. I just remember seeing my team every day, dressed, pressed, and ready, and already worked out, going, I don't get it. I'm happy. And yeah, right. So I think it was like a collaboration of everybody just seeing that dedication. And I didn't see that I worked in radio before, and you had people that were doing that and people that weren't doing that. And I just wasn't aware of it. And every single person on my team was doing that except for me. So I was kind of like, wow. So that was kind of the light bulb. Yeah. And it was just it was such a fun time. It was such a self-discovery time for me.
Mm-hmm. But that's right. I think we get to that, right? We get to that point where we kind of go, okay, I've tried stuff, it's not working, so enough's enough. And then that's when your mind sets into that whole thing of, we're doing this. We are doing this.
I drove people crazy because I was so strict. I had a girlfriend, Tamara. Sorry, Tamara. Who was like,
sorry, Tamara, I'm going to press on you.
I'm going to put you under the bus. And she's like, if I win this contest, you are going to eat whatever I want you to eat. And we're going to have cocktails. Because I was so strict. I was like, don't get the nut off my salad, and don't eat the chocolate. Because, I mean, if I'm being honest, I was a food addict. And I was tempted in tasting the sugar. So I didn't want to taste those things that made me crave those things. So when I got them out of my system, it really helped cleanse my body. And every time I got a taste of it, I wasn't at the point where I could just have one or two bites. And I still find myself like where, I've learned the lesson. I can have one, two or three bites and be fine. But there's other days where if I have that too many times in a row, that I start to crave and fall off the wagon. And then so I know what to do. And it doesn't matter if you have 5 pounds to lose or 100 pounds to lose. Getting started is so hard again. Yeah. So I'm just as real as everybody else. And that site gives back to me every day. That's something that my team used to say to me, and Fred used to say to me every day, when I was discouraged, you're getting closer every day. You're getting closer every day. So that's why it became that. And I have people that reach out to me that say, I don't want to put myself out there to my family. I'm not ready to share that I'm doing this, and I'm scared, or can we make your site private? And so we're going to try to we have some tools that we're going to bring people into our website so it's even more private, because we are public. Oh, good. Because I want to reach everybody, but I also want to give the integrity to those people that really need a private space, but still needs the support of others to have that space. So it's an exciting time for sure.
Absolutely. Because, I can certainly understand people not wanting to show their face right away, because unfortunately we like to see if we're going to be successful first, because we don't want to build everybody else up around us if we're not going to be successful, because it's a hard thing to do. Anytime you're addicted to food or anything, it doesn't happen overnight where it ends,
Right. And I think part of putting yourself out there and telling people is making yourself accountable to your family when you are ready. I think that's why I was accountable. Because I told everybody I'm doing this, and I didn't want to fail. And even though I had failed before, I don't know what was different this time. I just had I always call it the dream team. I had the dream team. So,
the dream team, everyone needs one, right? I mean, you can't, like you said,
everybody needs one
alone. Don't think you can do it
alone.
And
a lot of people don't have one.
Yeah, don't be embarrassed.
No, don't be embarrassed.
Any of it. Yeah.
And don't be embarrassed. The most wonderful people have come on Getting Closer Every Day on the accountability site. It's pretty amazing, because I've not been a part of a lot of weight loss groups until this has been born. And I've seen some stuff, and I have people that come over from other groups that say, wow, like, I'm just afraid to say something, or someone going to, say something mean. I have not seen one. I've seen like a spam ad once or twice, and everybody reports it. It's like a little family in there that is just growing, which I think is fantastic. Yeah. Everybody watches out for each other.
I think that's wonderful. And I think because of who you are, that's what you attract. You attract those kinds of people that are determined to do what you've done. And have a plan and change their life and don't take no for an answer. Like, you never take no for an answer. I know that. I mean, you may screw up once in a while like we all do, but I'm telling you, I've never seen somebody go, no, that's not what's going to happen. I'm doing this.
Right.
So that's so awesome. I mean,
funny.
it's just really, really awesome. And
I used to annoy my parents, but it's good life skills.
Yes, parents, you're getting a shout out today, parents. Okay, so listen up.
They love it now. They hated it when they were younger. I have a very determined, independent daughter myself, so I have a taste
so
of
you
my
see, so it's kind of looking at yourself in a mirror, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's happening. When they're like, yours is coming. Oh, it has arrived.
Oh, I love it. That's fantastic. So tell me, how do you do it this time? How did you do it this time? And what is different this time around? There must have been something that made it different than before. Was it
eating
here?
For sure.
Okay.
Here didn't click right away. It started to.
Right.
Kind of fake it till you make it.
Yes.
And had that, I don't think anybody knew I was going to make it. Not one person. Right. Maybe not. I shouldn't say that. I don't think anybody knew I was going to go this far. Nobody. I mean, I'm not ashamed to say that at all. And I think that everybody that was on this journey was like, well, I thought she could lose some weight, but I didn't think she could take it to the level that she took it at. We just had no idea. When I met with Eric, because I was so heavy, I remember I asked him, I had lost 20 pounds before I hired him and before I approached Fred. And I was eating better and walking a little bit and taking my dog for a walk, not doing much, but making little changes that made a big difference. And when I asked Eric what I should eat, he was like, well, eat a fist of protein. And he showed me his fist, like, eat a fist of protein. And I was probably eating like 5 or 6 fists of protein, but because it was still better than what I was eating, I was losing weight. And and then like what my perfect plate would look like with the veggies and the carbs, my post workout, when to eat. Water, I wasn't great with. And if I was better with it, I would drop the weight I've gained on now. It's just water's such a key element to losing weight. And the extra protein scoops, powder, you can't get enough protein. So I did high protein and a lower carb diet.
Nice.
Probably need to knock a lot of those carbs off. I actually ate good carbs, a lot of good carbs. So I did a 30-30-40, 40% protein, 30% carbs, 30% fat. So if I can, that is like the magic for me. Even 30 across the board, if you reverse it a little bit, it doesn't hurt me. But if I keep it in that zone, I think that's that. Also calories, I would track everything, and I was traveling too. So it was important. I used my Fitness Pal, and it was important for me because I make mistakes. Even today, I make mistakes. I order lettuce wraps and I say the sauce is on the side, but I forget to say the chicken with the sauce on the side, and it comes drenched. So there's like little things that happen all the time that I'm like, I'm doing great, and I'm like, oh, I messed up. When I go to Whole Foods or I go to a grocery store to buy something and I'm like eating on the run, I scan it first in my phone. So I know, like, when I'm really on top of it, that, okay, this is not good, or it's not going to hit my lips until I've figured this out. So there's a lot of that, but I think, and I'm a creature of habit, so it's easy. I eat a lot of the same foods. And fish and chicken, and I was eating turkey meatballs and meatloaf, and just making it simple and lots of vegetables and protein. So I think that there's a lot of people on our team right now that are putting stuff that are portioned out, and meal planning is important, because when you're starving, if you don't have those snacks ready and your meals ready, then you're not set up for success. So it's pretty fabulous. I have so inspired by the GCE team, because they are up there showing their pictures. Booked, like, one girl, Chris. Hi, Chris. She booked, Chris and Carla, they are the masters. They have like and sorry if I'm missing people. I know a lot of people on our site do this, but they have ordered their boxes from Amazon. They're all portioned out. It's pretty amazing. And they just have put in their meals for the week and have it set up breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And all they have to do is grab. And though it takes so much work, I was thinking about this, especially they both have children, Chris and Carla. It must give them so much time back with their family, with their spouses, and with their kiddos, because all they have to do is concentrate on what they're feeding them, and they're grabbing their own things, and they're ready to go, unless everybody's eating the same thing. I know that they're probably just having more time with their family and more, time enjoying, like cutting up the apples and the food for their kiddos, and they don't have to think about themselves because they've already planned it. So I love
That's pretty
that
cool
too.
that Amazon does that. Wow, who knew? I don't live in the United States right now. We have to, but let me tell you something.
I keep looking.
Living in Thailand, there's no shortage on food. I mean, seriously. The food stalls stay open all night long. And, they don't have preservatives in their food. I mean, it's really, there's an MSG problem, so you have to be careful about that. But really, it's all fresh vegetables and fruits, and because they grow everything here. I mean, the only thing they don't grow is avocados. And so they'll go, okay, avocados for 2 months. So we're rushing everywhere to get an avocado on a sandwich or something.
I love avocados.
But, wouldn't it be nice? I always think, wouldn't it be cool if, I'm sure it will happen someday. I won't be alive, but where you can walk up to the computer and you can put your finger on the program, and the program will tell you what exactly you should be eating for your exact body.
I mean, that would be amazing.
The thing about it is that, some people, like maybe what you eat is definitely proven that, of course, if you eat protein and if you eat 30% carb, 30%, fresh veggies, whatever it is. But some people, like here, the people are very thin. They probably eat, seriously, they might eat 5 or 6 little meals a day, little ones.
Right.
They're having a little bit of rice with chicken. Or maybe later they're having some fruit with some rice. Or maybe, but see, they eat rice all the time.
Right.
They have a different metabolism than I do, of course. I mean, I could not eat rice and be thin. There's no way.
I mean, they must be moving more. And I think they move meals work too.
Yeah.
Yeah. They must be moving more. I think movement has a lot to do with it. And gosh, it wasn't rigorous. When I was with Eric in the gym, yes, I worked hard, but I did a lot of walking on my own. Yes. I did a lot of planks at home. I never did a sit up, which I thought was so interesting. And I was so strong. And man, I can't wait to be that strong again. I have yet to do that. After my weight loss, I put the cherry on top with some encouragement from some girlfriends and some family members that said, why don't you do something special for yourself? And it was something that I wanted to do. And I didn't really share with anybody except a few friends. And I had a lift and a tuck. And it was the most amazing thing I ever did with Stacy Folk in Denver. You're amazing. I love her.
Amazing, Stacy.
Anyway, like there's not, everybody's journey is different. How you lose weight, it doesn't matter. It's just how you get there, just as long as you can get there, because I think being your healthiest self is so important. And knowing what I know about surgeries now, like I'm so grateful. She like changed my life. She really put the cherry on top, and it's priceless. Absolutely priceless.
Absolutely.
So I'm grateful for that. And I was happy just as I was, but this was something that I did for myself. And
I understand.
Again, I wouldn't have changed a thing. What I'm leading up to though is it makes you think about surgery. And I had a routine surgery 9 months after this surgery. And I was healthy. It was coming up from the surgery. It was a very aggressive surgery. And I recovered great. And then I had my new job and everything was going great. And I had a surprise, let's hurry up and have a hysterectomy from fibroids. And in that surgery and post-op, it was in post-op, they pulled I had the fibroid, ironically, that I was complaining about, they couldn't find on scan or film. And when they opened me up, or they did it actually, it was there. It was like as big as a grapefruit. And it was what was keeping me up at night and making me go to the bathroom around the clock. So yes, it was awful. So the surgery went great, but in post-op, I had too much anesthesia or whatever happened. They pulled the tube out, and basically I had too much fluid in my lungs and I was drowning, and I had to have CPR. And that was very scary because I just recently spoke to a bunch of people at Prana at their wind down Wednesdays. And when I was writing that talk, I didn't really register that if I was the weight that I was before, this surgery was coming for me no matter what, that I probably wouldn't be here today. And so that's another message. There was another reason for me to just keep sharing, because you need to be your strongest self, because you never know what life's going to deliver you. And man, I was kind of run down during that time too. I was not my strongest self, but I was coming back up, and there's nothing that could have prevented that from happening. And if that same event happened when I was having it would have been an unhappy ending, I think. So I'm grateful for the doctors that took care of me, and I'm grateful to be here. And I just, it's so many questions about, you know, what's next, and what's next is I'm like starting again and going to continue to do this journey for me.
And every day you wake up, you start again, right? Every single day you start again. And we forget that. I think sometimes we think, oh, okay, I've got to keep going. But every day is a new day. And forget what happened yesterday. Forget what happened yesterday.
But you have to be careful.
I get to start over a day.
You have to be careful, because that's how some people justify the food, right?
That's right. That's right.
I try to be a cheerleader on getting closer every day. And it's such a great mix of people. And there's everybody's such a cheerleader. And there's a lot of forgiveness and self-forgiveness. And you have to be careful. We don't want to lose anybody on that site, because we want to make sure that they get to their end goal and reach the destination that they're trying to get to. But at the same time,
do people contact you one-on-one? Do you do a lot of one-on-ones with people as well, Jenna?
I do. It's something that I need to figure out a system to do better, but organically I have, people have pulled on some heartstrings that there's no way I could say no, or, and some of my favorites is Lacey, and now her husband, Robbie, has joined. Hi, Lacey. In Ohio, I just fell in love with her, and she jumped in on the site, and she was posting religiously and was just so ready to take this. And I just think that when I was so ready and I released myself from the fear of getting started, that I knew she was at that point. So I grabbed her. I wanted to grab her, and I connected with her. And it's, she's got 5 children. She's a young mom, a great supportive husband. I know she's busy. She's got, kids going to the doctor, running a household, and trying to fit workout stuff is, you think is near impossible. But she has the support of her husband, and she's teaching her kids new things. And it's fantastic, because it's not the lessons that she's learning for herself. It's something that she's passing on to those 5 children.
I love that.
So there was, not to throw you under the bus, Lacey, but there was like 3 times or 2 weeks that she was kind of MIA on the site, and I poked her and she came right back. But it's so easy to fall off that train. And I've been falling off mine for a year. I have been trying to lose this last 18 pounds for a year since my surgery. And then the holidays came, and I went to a kid's birthday party last night. There's always an excuse, so
that's right.
I'm glad that she's in, and I know she's dedicated, and now she's probably like, awesome. I can't believe that we connect that closely, because now she pokes me. But I made a promise to her.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? I made a promise to her.
Me under the bus. I'm getting you back now.
Right. I made a promise to her that I would come see her when she makes her weight goal, and that's definitely going to happen. So I'm excited to meet her and hug her in person. And there's so many people on our site like that. So
that's so awesome. I see it going in another direction. I mean, I think it's going to go in another direction, because people are going to need to, especially if they're in Colorado close to you, they're going to need to do some touchy-feely, huggy stuff, because, that's what we do when we accomplish something. And the people with us that have stood by us all through it, is really, man, I mean, those people I never let go of. I never let go of them. I don't care what it takes. If they are by my side through thick and thin, man, they have got me for life. That's it.
For life. Exactly.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
It's amazing how strangers you start to worry about the strangers at night, and they're not so much strangers anymore. There's names to these strangers, and there's faces and families, and social media helps connect you, and they become like they're in your heart, And so I'm wondering, like, did Cheryl post tonight? I wonder how she's doing. And you think of all the people that are on the site and all the contributors. I couldn't do it by myself. I'm just one person. It was just
awesome.
It was just a concept and an idea. So it's everybody that keeps it going.
And I think too,
just like
I've been through, I think I've been through some traumatic things in my life. And the first thing I did was find a group that could help and support me. And it's always funny, because you go into a group and you're like, I'm complaining.
Right.
What am I complaining about? I mean, you listen to someone else's story and you think, geez, we're all in this together. Come on.
Right. It's
it's a
so
lovely
true.
way to get support. I'm all about groups and people supporting each other. I think if we don't have that, we have nothing. We really don't, because sometimes our self doesn't make it through. Our self can't stand up. Our self just wants to lay down. And
It's so
with other
true.
people there, it's just unbelievable. So
I feel like people have picked me up off the ground so many times. It's, I look like this champion, but I didn't do it by myself. It's because of the support,
oh
for sure.
well, I'm
For
sure.
sure.
But then the nice thing is that once you're supported, there's very few that turn around and don't give it back. I mean,
It's
once you're
true.
supported and you feel what that feels like, you want to do it for someone else. I mean,
Right?
that's what you want to do. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing when that happens. And it's funny how life sort of gives us these different things in our life because we're supposed to do something, or we're supposed to learn something,
Right.
or maybe someone else is, and you're there for them in whatever manner. So I just love that you have this group and getting closer every day. Seriously, if you want to look at what's happening with you and you need some support, go there. There's a website, gettingclosereveryday.com. There's also a facebook.com/gettingclosereveryday. And is there another one, Jenna, or is that it?
Probably the easiest way to find the accountability is go to
Yeah.
gettingclosereveryday.com, and then there's a
Okay.
link that says accountability group. It's probably the best way to go find that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
But
and you're right.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, it is a beautiful thing. I'm so grateful for this journey. I think that I was so ashamed for so long that I was so heavy and that I had to overcome this. And I did, and great that I overcame it. But I was like, what's so great about that? But then when I was able to give back, it took away all the years of being heavy. It just made them disappear. So I'm so grateful that it happened to me, because not only do I get to give back, I get to erase I have no regrets. I wouldn't change a thing. Who would have ever thought? I used to think, wow, I've missed 13 years of my life, and now I'm like, that was a blessing. That was a blessing that
I'm going to get more.
that I uncovered. Yeah, I'm going to get more, and I get to share, and I found my purpose, right? So it's fantastic.
I mean, how could we not want our purpose? And how did they find you? Because you were in a magazine. Your whole story was in a magazine. You were on you've been on numerous websites. You've been on other radio shows. I mean, how did someone find you, or your story? Was it out there?
My story started at Shape Fit. Hi, Chris. Great supporter. He's fantastic. I know I have so many people to thank. He actually published my story, and it's a place where a lot of people have weight gain and weight loss success stories get to share.
Got it.
And he actually was the facilitator to get me into First for Women magazine.
Right.
And that was fantastic. And thank you, Lisa. And also I had the fitness tracker I had up at the time. It doesn't really matter what you use as long as you have something. And that was
There's so many out there now. Yeah.
There's so many. I'm using Fitbit right now. And what's great about it is that you can really track we need to be friends. You can track what you're doing and okay, what did I do today? And you can see what other people are doing. And, I wish one band could do everything, because I like things from bands, but I think it's a great tool that is inexpensive for someone who can't maybe afford a tool or even use your phone as a tracker to really get a guide to what you're doing. But that's how it started. It started with Chris. And then he was helping me with People Magazine, and my surgery happened, and then everything happened. And then I had Shannon from Up write a blog about me, which was fantastic. And I had a Facebook, but I didn't have the pages, so I didn't have the tools. So when the magazine came out, it was really hard. I had hundreds of people reach out to my personal Facebook, which is great. I wish I could accept them all, and I try to keep that separate. So I created the Facebook landing pages, and trying to get a system in place. And we have those systems working now for much better.
Nice.
We can handle the volume. So bring it. Share it with your friends and family. right? The thing that I shared at the prana event the other day was because I was sharing to a very fit group of yogis. And the biggest thing that I get asked is, I have a friend or a family member that's overweight, and I don't know how I'm going to not hurt their feelings. And I want to talk to them, but I don't know how to say it. And so my approach is to say, you saw my story, that you are part of the event or however, and, you know, there's no way you're not going to hurt someone's feelings. It's not you hurting their feelings. It's them having to look at themselves, but they'll be grateful in the end for you to have the strength to reach out and say, I think that, you could do this too, or you should connect. And there's a way that you can do it. I think when you meet someone like me or somebody that has lost weight or someone who's on the site that's contributing, if you know somebody there, then you can reference that person and say, oh my goodness, there's all levels of fitness and nutrition here. Join this group. I'm on it, and hearing that as a fit person, it should be less intimidating. So I think I get that question a lot. So I just
because all of a sudden, like,
go for it.
Man, there was articles about you. There was one in People. I mean, all of a sudden I'm seeing all this stuff and I'm like, oh my gosh, she is kicking
butt. That wasn't in People. It wasn't in People, but I did get picked up in a lot of things. And my work, Spa Finder, thank you for supporting me through everything. They've been amazing. They've shared my story. And Living Social, of course, before Spa Finder. I mean, I just have had the most amazing support at work for the last 8 years. It's been fantastic. And through friends and through family, my husband, my daughter, my sisters, everybody, they've done a really great job, being here for me. And it's not easy journeying in a house. With a husband that's not used to eating kale. I should say that about him, because my daughter says she brings her friends home every day and she's like, all we have is kale. All we have. And she was like, I was like the health police. And now they come home and I can't even get upset with them. She brings over her friends, and you guys better not be ditching because they come home a lot. But now they're like cutting open like bell peppers and putting lunch meat and tomatoes and grilling them under the broiler with a little bit of cheese. And I'm like, oh, okay, can't be mad about that. They're eating healthy finally, right? And we were all working out together, her friends and I, and that was really great.
Nice.
It fell off when I had the second surgery, but it's coming back. So now they're going. Now I'm like, oh, you're right, I gotta go. So they're doing better than I am right now. So I am learning from my kiddos, right? I'm learning
80-20, 80-20. That's what I always hear. 80-20. If you can do good 80% of the time and 20, you maybe screw up a little bit. Don't beat yourself up, right? I mean,
right.
I'm sure you deal with that. Like not beating yourself up. If you're working hard, how do you deal with that?
I need to work harder. So the problem is I bought all my clothes 20 pounds ago, 18 pounds ago, and I'm not buying another. So I'm not buying another thing. So everyone's like, you look great. And it's nice, but no, I'm not buying another thing. No, and I'm going to get back to even, and then I'll reevaluate. It's going to be a constant always. I would like to get back to like get to my happy 5-pound range, and then bounce back and forth. Like, enjoy life. Okay, next week I'll work that off. It takes 3 or 4 days for me to work off a bad day. I know that, but it's life. You gotta live.
You have to live, and you have to find what works for you and how it works for you and if it can work for you, because I'm sure there's times you go out when everybody's eating crap, like we sometimes do, and you're looking around going, okay, I'm not eating that.
Believe me, I eat crap with them sometimes. I've been eating crap lately. And the thing about, I also want to stress, especially the people that are listening for a GCE, is I had somebody reach out to me recently saying, oh, I'm getting there, but it's taking so long, and I've had a couple cheat days. And I'm like, gotta take out the cheat days, because that really is what stops you. And I remember when Eric, I was so strict. I wasn't drinking very little. And when I was drinking vodka and having a martini or a club soda with vodka, no wine. And drinking led to not caring about what I was eating as much. So I just cut it all out. But I remember Eric, my trainer, he said, you have been so strict. And I had lost more weight and I had not cheated. He's just go enjoy. And I heard
a martini.
He said, go enjoy a meal. And I came back that next weekend and I was like, oh my gosh. He's like, did you enjoy your meal? And I'm like, my meal? I enjoyed the weekend. I enjoyed every meal, every drink, and he was like, oh my goodness, no, absolutely
Did you
not.
misunderstand me?
I
said
totally
a meal.
Yes. And actually, a meal is really like that is good balance for me because a bad meal could lead to another bad meal. To the old habit is like, oh, I'll start tomorrow because I had a bad meal. And that is such a dirty cycle. And so I have to always be in check with that. And so it's something that I live with. And
But
I
I
know when
love
I
the
get
way you're
that.
so real about it. I mean, you're a
Right.
very real person that says, yes, this is what I lost, but man, it was hard to get here. And not only that, it takes a lot of work and I screw up sometimes. Here
Yes,
I
I
am,
do.
you
Right?
know. I mean, some people get on a
Absolutely
high
true.
horse that, I mean, sometimes you don't hear that like, oh yes, I did this and I did this and I did this, but I'm human. I screw up a lot. So, or I have a lot of setbacks and things that I have to look at
Right.
myself. So, I just think that, if we can be honest and open like you are,
And like
I've
you.
got an issue. Yeah. And I've got an issue. I'm going to come to somebody like you and say, God, could you sit down with me for a minute and just talk to me about this shit? Because I'm fed
Yeah, and
up.
that's all people want. That's all people
Yes.
want. They just
That's
need to
it.
know that they're not alone. I get a lot of
Right.
people that reach out to me. Uh, a new person that just reached out to me recently that sent
Mm-hmm.
me just dialect after dialect of their eating plan and just
Oh,
the
wow.
questions of, are you real? Are you real? Are you
Yeah.
sure? Is this real? Is this made up? And so I've been so confident in saying, and proudly that I
Oh,
am, but to see
yes.
that false advertising about me recently was like,
Gosh.
ah, yeah. And I'm glad that people think about that. And I hope people don't,
Mhm.
I'm sure I'm missing people that are buying that product because I am real, but that you have to be real and do the hard work to get there for sure.
Yeah,
So
you do.
I think,
So before we go, your three pieces of advice for helping those with weight issues, and what do you think it takes to be successful?
so eliminate the sugar. Sugar is the devil
Yes.
and it's the devil. As low grams as you can. I think I never did over 20 grams in a day when I was being really good, and sometimes under
Got
10.
it.
There's tools that you can do, buy little snacks, some things that are not all clean. Try to eat clean as you can. I
Yeah.
think that's the best way to keep the preservatives out of your diet. It's hard to do. I do not eat 100% clean. I grab a quick granola bar, the cleanest ones I
Mhm.
can, anything I can, but anything that's packaged is really, what you have to look at.
Yeah,
The
it's
other
true.
thing, unfortunately, it really is.
It
It's not
is.
easy.
It's not like that
Not
here, but
easy.
it's not like that here. But
Yeah.
in the grocery stores where, you know, uh, foreigners or Westerners shop, everything like that's so expensive. They make it so expensive because they don't eat that.
Right.
So,
And there's some things I won't give up. Like there's my
yeah, of
sugar-free
course.
coffee and I have to figure out how to do it.
Yeah,
Now I think I'm going to give up coffee because I am trying to tackle a sleep issue. And so now I'm like, maybe I'll just
yeah,
give up coffee and then
yeah,
I'll eliminate the bad sugar-free thing I'm using. So
yeah,
I'm trying
yeah.
that. And grab a buddy, tell people what you are doing.
Oh,
Not
true.
everybody is going to support what you're
Hmm.
doing, not because they don't want to, but maybe
Right,
it's somebody that you went and ate bad with or had drinks with,
right,
and
right.
that you're their go-to buddy. And so they're going to kind of nudge you to maybe go that way or not
Yeah,
understand the change. It takes a little
and help.
time. So, yeah, and that person may come around, may not, but you need to kind of divert and stay focused to reach those goals. So I think
Yeah,
that's really important. And there's a couple of those people. It's usually someone really close to you. It could be a family member, it could be a
mhm,
friend, it could be a spouse, it could
right.
be anybody. And we all have them because we're friendly people and we're living and we're making a life
Yeah,
and we didn't get heavy by ourselves, right? Not
right,
just all by ourselves. I mean, we did, but we like hung out with people and had habits and created these habits. So
right.
changing and having new habits is hard for some people sometimes. So I think that's important to
And
be really
what
aware.
about not being afraid to say to your friends, I can't go out tonight because you guys are going to go out and party and eat and drink and I can't do that tonight. I mean, do
I
people
think you have
understand?
to. I think so for the most part. I think at first I dodged it. Well, plus I had some surgery stuff and recovery, and I was
Yes.
very tired and
Yes.
battling that. But I'd have friends that would ask me to go out, and then I'd have a rough day, and then I would cancel on them, and then I would start to like, okay, I'm really getting engaged in this new program. So I don't want to go drink and be tempted. So my friends figured out pretty fast, and I love all of them because, and you all know who you are. They stopped asking me to happy hour, and I still want to go to
Yeah.
dinner, so keep asking.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they started asking me for workouts. Then I had too many friends asking me to go work out. Like it was just too many workouts.
Oh, but
So
see,
I
then
was
that
teasing.
just says, we
They
support
started
you no matter what
attaching
you're doing.
to support
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now when people call me, they say, "Hey, I'd love to go for a workout. We can go grab a healthy lunch or dinner. We don't have to drink." I mean, that's how it starts out now. I think it's
Right.
fantastic. I love
No,
my
that's
friends and I
such
appreciate the
support.
support. Such
Yeah. Well,
support. It gives me
you,
goosebumps. I think it's really nice.
yeah, I know. And you're a very good example of support and what it means to you, what it's meant to you, and what it means to other people now that you support others. I mean, it's really a big deal. It's like,
Oh,
none
thank
of
you
us
so
are in this
much.
alone. And you just, you've inspired me so much in
Oh,
just
right
who
back
you
at you,
are.
Kathy.
And I just think the world of you. And I'm so happy that you came on today and talked about something. I mean, something, I ask people for pictures so that I can post about them and things like that. And you sent a picture of you when you were heavy, when you
Yes,
had
I have
lost some
one right
weight,
here. Mm-hmm.
and how you look today. And that takes
Mm-hmm.
courage. It takes courage
Right.
because, sometimes we don't want to talk about what happened over there, but you do. You put
Right.
it out there and you
Have
show
that
people.
picture right here.
Oh my,
It's
yes, there it
crazy.
is, everyone. Look,
Right.
okay, there she was before she lost
There I was.
139 pounds. This is in between, right? And
Right.
then the last
That
one
was
is
50
where you
pounds.
are. That's where you are now.
That's 18 pounds ago. I
Yeah,
need to
but
get to that again. 18
you
pounds.
will.
I know.
I don't
I
doubt
will.
it.
I know
I
how
don't
to do
doubt it
it.
for a minute. No,
I'm
not
not spending a penny on my wardrobe, so I have to. I already spent those
I'm not
pennies.
spending any money. So
That's
thank
right.
you. I
So
mean, really, thank you so much for joining me today and telling your
thanks
story
for having
again.
me.
Oh, of course. And anytime you want to come on and give some tips to people about eating or weight loss, I'm glad to have you on. You could be a regular once a month for 10 minutes if you'd like, just giving some
Love it.
people some encouragement. And here's some ways to get a hold of Jenna. Info at gettingclosereveryday.com, gettingclosereveryday.com, jennalavelle.com. That is her website. Facebook.com/getting closer every day. She's also got a Facebook group, and it's quite long with numbers, but you'll be able to find that if you go into any of her pages, her other
Yeah. You can find that on
groups,
my Getting
right?
Closer every
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
Yes.
She's got a really big group where it's all about support, and if you need it, just remember, you're not alone if you go there. You'll be supported by
Yes.
many people. She's also got an Instagram account that you can go onto Instagram. And what is your name on Instagram?
Jenna Levalle, LEVEILLE_11. So I
Okay,
know it's
here it
spelled
is.
Laville and it's supposed to be
Okay,
Levalle, but
Lavelli.
it's not easy.
Lavelli. I didn't know
So
you were a Lavelli. Come
Lavelli.
on.
I know.
So now I
So
see you learn
yes,
something new about people every single day. And then you also have a
right?
YouTube channel. A YouTube
Yes.
channel, right?
So yes, Creighton, my web guy, thank you, Creighton. He started that for me. He is kind of
Good.
moving me forward. I'm a little shy when it comes to this part, but this is me putting myself out here
Really?
now
Are
more.
you kidding
I
me
know.
right now?
I know. This is
Come on.
easier. It's very friendly. So, but I did
Yeah.
become a certified coach. I don't lean on that a lot. I lean on my trainer, and real life experience is really what I go after. But on my website, there's also a precision training. It's what I used when I lost weight. Something that you can download so you can use free kind of to
Oh,
fill out your
nice.
weights, your stats. It's long. It's about 50 pages, but it goes through all your medical history. I would suggest anybody who wants to look at that deeply, that's a great way to
That's
start,
awesome.
measure, and an easy guide. So, yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for helping
That's
me share.
Oh, it's been so much fun to see you and to talk to you. It's been so much fun to see you and to talk to
I
you
know, right? It's
and
been a
really
while.
all of you that maybe we're busy tonight. It looks like we've had about 30 views, but I encourage you when this goes on the Facebook pages and the other pages to have a look because you're going to learn a lot from Jenna because well, this is real life. This is real Jenna. She's not holding anything back. And I encourage you so much to be a part of her show and her team because she's the real deal. That's all I can say. She's the real deal. And to me, that's important. So thank you for coming on and taking the time today.
Thank you for having me.
Today's my day and it's your night. I'm just getting started. It's almost 10 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday.
Right.
So, and it's your night, but I really, really appreciate it. And for all of you that
Thank
want
you
to
so much.
tune in to What's Your Story, please drop me a line on what'syourstory.com or kathybacon.com. I've got a place there for guests to fill out information if you want to come on. I'm open to listening to anyone's story. It's always important for me to do that because then we have a better understanding of how we should be to others in life. So thank you, Jenna. Oh,
Thank you.
wish I
Love and
could
miss
hug you and
you.
kiss
I know.
you.
I can't believe how
Oh.
far you are away from me. No, you
So we're
feel
going to
so
say
close.
goodbye now. Goodbye, everyone. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.